What's the worst thing a parent ever did that you'll never forgive? My dad stole the inheritance my grandpa left me. My grandfather wasn't a rich man, but to me, he was everything. He was the one who showed up to my school plays when my dad forgot. He taught me how to ride a bike, how to change a tire, how to hold my head up when the world felt too heavy. And before he passed, he called me into his hospital room and told me something I'll never forget. He said, "I don't have much to give you, but I want you to have a better start than I had." A few weeks later, I found out he left me a small inheritance, around $12,000. It was meant to help me start my adult life. College, a car, a small apartment, whatever I needed to get my footing. But since I was underage, the money had to be held by a guardian. And that guardian was my father. At the time, I didn't question it. He promised he'd keep it safe, that when I turned 18, it would be waiting for me. I believed him. I wanted to believe him. Months passed. I graduated. I started applying to colleges. I needed a laptop, help with enrollment fees, and maybe even a car to commute. So I finally asked my dad about the money Grandpa left me. He looked at me, completely blank. "What money?" he said. I thought he was joking. So I laughed. But he didn't. He told me things were tough, that the money was used for household expenses and that I shouldn't be so selfish. He said, "We're family. You're not owed anything." I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. Not just because the money was gone, but because the man who was supposed to protect me had stolen from me. Stolen from my future. From his own father's final wish. And what crushed me more was how calmly he said it. Like it meant nothing. I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I just walked out of the room and sat in my car in silence for over an hour. I stared at the sky and tried to convince myself that this was just a misunderstanding. That maybe he'd surprise me the next day and hand me a check, apologizing. But he never did. Instead, he avoided me for weeks. Then months. That summer, I moved out. No money. No help. Just me, a secondhand laptop, and a job bagging groceries. It was humiliating. But it was also the beginning of something I didn't see coming: resilience. I worked 2 jobs. Took night classes. It took me longer than everyone else, but I graduated. Debt-free. On my own. And now I work in financial planning, teaching other kids how to protect their futures, even when adults fail them. Last year, I was invited to speak at a youth conference. Before I walked on stage, I looked down at my notes and thought of Grandpa, of his final words, and how I kept his promise, even when my dad didn't. My father still hasn't apologized. He still pretends like nothing happened. And maybe he never will. But I know one thing for sure. I didn't let his choices define my future. I wrote my own. If you've ever been betrayed by someone who was supposed to protect you, tell me how you got through it. Let someone else know they're not alone.